Morning, guys. Hope you can hear me. Just testing the sound to make sure it's okay. Somebody give me yes if you can hear me and you can see my screen. Okay, I'm not sure whether it's live. I still haven't got an answer. Somebody give me yes if you can hear me and if you can see my screen. Give me yes to both of those. It's a very long delay if I don't have an answer so quick. Okay, thanks, Vic. That was a long delay. It seems like a whole minute. Okay, let's go. Thanks. I see the answers are coming in now. Yeah. So in a few minutes we'll start. We'll get going. Let's get everybody in and let's go. So while everybody's coming, I can tell you two trades we took this morning. One of them is the Euro CAD. I think we spoke about this trade yesterday. We're expecting this to go back up to tag this top, at least at this level. We'll see what happens. It's pulling back. Tag is pulling back. That's a normal thing. That's a pretty normal thing. You will get tagged and pull back pretty often in a trade. It's how you manage a trade, right? It's this stop is under this low, and from there we'll see where it goes. So we're slightly upside down right now. Okay, great. That's a very long delay. I know you guys can hear me and see my screen, but from the time I ask this question to the answer, it's more than 30 seconds delay. So I would leave. Every now and then you will hear me make pauses because I'm waiting for answers. I'm waiting for you guys to catch up with my thoughts. So hope all of you had a great day. Hope you had a great trading day yesterday, and I hope you made some profit because I closed the Aussie trade for profit. I can show you what I did with the Aussie trade. Remember I said we were going to watch the Aussie trade to drop not too far and close. Well, I closed it once this consolidation starts to happen. Once I started to see this consolidation here, I'm out of the trade, right? So you can see it started to consolidate here, which means thought process was we're either going to make another flag and then drop, or we're going to correct upwards, which we did, right? So at this point, this could still go up, right? We don't know whether it's going to drop one more or not. We're expecting it to drop. I'm expecting this to be more of a running flat and drop, but we'll see what happens to that, right? We don't have a trade set up on it as yet. For the pound trade, I hope I didn't take this trade, but I hope most of you managed to close it here because remember I draw the line and I said watch it. Actually, the line was like this, and I said watch it when it comes here. This is where you can expect it to stop and go right back up. Right, that's exactly what happened. So now we're back at the top. And we're looking for a sell setup again on this. So we'll be expecting, we have an entry here. This is not the best entry, but that is if it drops really sudden. So that entry is if there's a sudden move. We look for an entry higher at the top here when we get a flag. If you're with us, you will see how we do it. Right, so this is like an entry just in case it dropped really fast. We won the trade. There's a bigger move to the downside. I will explain that a little later. So once again, good morning to everybody. Hope you guys had a great time. Those were the two trades we took yesterday. For those of you who just joined us, good morning, welcome. I hope you made some money yesterday. So we're going to try to make some money today. Now, to all the traders out there, if you're watching this video, the recording of this video, please watch the two videos we did yesterday because those are educational videos. Yesterday the market was quiet, so we didn't trade that much. We only took two trades in the afternoon. Those are educational videos. So what you're going to find is you're going to find some really interesting educational stuff there. And you guys can share those videos more often on YouTube, maybe in Facebook with traders you know, in groups where traders are, so that they can go and watch it, understand what wave analysis is about. Okay, I hope all of you are ready to go trade. Today we'll be doing trading, tomorrow trading, everyday trading. At the end of the session, I'll take some questions if you guys have. So let's go. I'm going to go through all the charts really quick. I'll identify the trade. We'll mark them. You will see trades we're taking, trades we are looking for setups. We'll mark them. So when we come back this afternoon in the New York session, we'll update you what we did with those trades. Now, between now and New York, we may or may not have a session in my trading room. We already had a session this morning. Actually, the guys were already in the training when I joined them, so it's like 2 sessions. And we normally get more sessions during the day. If there's a lot of things happening, we're going to update it as we go. Right? So let's go. Good morning to all of you. Anybody here, just out of curiosity, anybody here for the very, very first time? Give me a yes. Just put a Y if you're here for the very, very first time. Aussie dollar, we're looking for a sell. Somebody $1, so we don't have any new traders. Let's hope this afternoon we get a lot of new traders. Right? Some of them are. So Aussie dollar, we're expecting this to be a running flat. So what we will be looking for is a sell setup. We're waiting for this to come, make a flag, and then we will sell it. If it doesn't make a flag, we'll try to get a different entry. Right now, we're looking for a flag on this for the sell. If this is going to go up, it will have to make a flat, not a flag. So that will be till in the afternoon or tomorrow you get a trade for the upside. For the sell, the trade could be today, but you'll have to wait for 4 or 5 hours. That's for the person asking in the Aussie trade, what we're going to do with it. So no need to rush. There's no rush in any trade coming right now in the Aussie. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Let's go. I'll start with dollar index. Dollar index. Right now the dollar index came down. It is still looking like a consolidation in this piece. So which means I think we're going to drop one more. Remember, the bigger picture is upside. The bigger picture, we're in this range. I showed you that yesterday. So at any given time, we can expect this to go up. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, we have a flat here and we have a sharp move here. So there's a very good chance we might make a new low here before we go. Now, if this is going to make a new low, there's a good chance Aussie dollar might continue to go up. But then we can't buy it until we get that confirmation, which is we get a consolidation. Right? If we get a consolidation, then we can buy it. And that consolidation means it will take about 6 to 10 hours to get that consolidation to buy. So if Aussie is going to be a buy, I wouldn't be buying it right now. So can we sell it if it's a sell? Can this thing continue to go up more? Of course. I wouldn't be surprised. This is a slow move down. And if this starts to go back up, all we need is a flag to buy it here. That will be in a few hours. We could get a 15 minutes flag, which means that will take an hour or two. If this is going to drop, we can either sell it under here or we can wait for a flag and then sell. So there is no trade setup on it as such. Silver does have a trade setup. We're in the consolidation. Remember yesterday I warned you about trying to buy this going out there. First, because the market was closed, and secondly, that it doesn't look like they're going to take off. So it doesn't look like they're going to take off now either. And if you want this trade, you got to be careful. That trade is already off the grid. I think that should be something we would take it off because we are already tagging the top, which means if you tag the top, you're still in that consolidation. This could definitely come back to the low here, but if it comes back, we're still in this consolidation. So can it stay here, go back up, come back here, go back up, come back here, and then take off? Yes. If I'm buying this, there are 2 ways I'm buying. I'm either buying the breakout or I'm buying it under the low, which means every time it makes a new low, I'll look for a buy setup or above the breakout. Now, that is easier said than done. I'm going to give you that. It's easier said than done. I see traders who buy breakout and they get messed up and they're like, what's wrong with this breakout trade with me? It tags me every time and it goes the opposite direction. I don't know what to do with it. Well, that is the thing about wave analysis. It tells you what to do with it. Now, we are tagged in a trade right now, and I'll show you what we do with it. I'll show you how we manage the trade if it doesn't go our direction. How we cut the losses for much smaller than we expect. Or how we don't panic when a trade tags you and pull back, because 99% of your trade will tag you and pull back. There is no point in the chart you can enter that you wouldn't be tagged and pull back. Now, anybody who tells you otherwise has no idea what they're telling you about. I don't care where you click a trade. You're going to be tagged and pull back. The only time you don't get tagged and pull back is there's really momentum in the trade, like in a news event, when there's a sharp move going, and even that sometimes pull back, because we trade that session. We trade it every time. And we get tagged and we get pulled back too. Right? It doesn't matter where and when you click a trade, you're likely going to be tagged and pulled back. There are rare chances when the chart just keeps going that you get tagged and it just keeps going in your direction and there's no pullback. That is pretty rare. Most time it will tag you, it will pull back, and then it will continue to go. Now, if you don't understand that, then you don't understand wave analysis and you don't understand how the market behaves. So, this sell is off. We're going to take that off because of where the price is right now. It's going to come down, but it's not a sell setup. There's no risk to reward in the trade. This could go both ways. And I mean, yesterday, remember I told you if you sell it again, watch it when it breaks the low because it's not going anywhere. And if you took it under the low, you managed to close to break even. I hope you did. But this is not one of trading. We're looking at this move to come a little more down. Right? We're expecting it to probably drop one more here and then go back up. We're looking at this as a possible running flat. Now, here's the thing. This could be where the running flat ends. And that could go up. And that would be a pretty normal running flat. Right? What we want to see to confirm whether it's that running flat, we want to see it makes a flag here. And if we get a flag, we're buying. If we don't get a flag and it starts to drop, we will consider the sell. And depending on where we get the entry, we'll consider the sell because the sell is limited. Which means it's just going to go a little down, but then it's going to go up. So the downside is limited, the upside is more. Euro. Euro is at the top of this structure. I don't think there's any need for Euro to go much lower. We're not expecting this thing to consolidate a lot more, at least not in here. And this consolidation can break out at any given point, right? Because we already have a contracting flat here. So this could break out, tag the top. It could come back to the bottom here, but that would be a separate move. Now, if we get a buy setup here, we'll take it. That'd be a pretty good trade. Let me take this off. That's just showing the break of the top. If it is coming back to the low within this correction, I'm not sure we'll get a good risk to reward trade, but if we do, we'll take the trade. So let's assume for a second that this is trying to come back to the bottom here, make a new low, whatever this was, right? That was a flat there. If we go with that as a 1, 2, 3, I think it's over. Now, can it make more complex correction and then go? Remember yesterday's lesson? If you don't understand that, go watch yesterday's lesson. It will help you understand the complexity of the patterns and the ever-changing structure, right? So what we're looking for is a sell setup here or a buy. I don't really like the sell. I think it's limited. There is no good risk to reward in the sell, and I don't think it's going to go far. I do believe this can break out. Now, there are two ways we can buy it. We buy above the last impulse or we buy the correction. I think we'll wait for a correction here because the upside is limited also. Once it gets to this top, there's a good chance it could come back all the way back to the bottom of this big correction here, right? See this big correction we have here? We can come back all the way here. So if it breaks this top, it can come back. So we'll have to make sure that when we get into the entry, we will have enough pips to the top to put it to break even. Pound, we're actually looking for the downside on the pound. This is the only one we are looking for downside, confirming that there's a good chance it's going to go. Now this looks like a correction, and here is where you have to understand. This is where your knowledge of wave analysis will be tested. When you look at this and you said, oh, this is upside, because then you're ignoring the fact that that could be a leading diagonal. And if it is a leading diagonal, there are two things are going to happen. It's going to still come down here, go back there, and then you look for the sell. That will confirm the leading diagonal structure. If it is a correction, and both of those patterns are absolutely identical in the way you can look at them, you wouldn't be able to differentiate one from the other. If it is a WXYZ kind of a pattern, some kind of a correction, maybe a set of running flats, contracting flats, whatever is in there. If that is the case, then what you would see is that this will consolidate here. And if we get a consolidation here, we are buying to break this top. If we don't get a consolidation there, we're looking for a sell. It might drop here, but then the chances are it's going to go back up and then come. So we'll see which one happens. Right now, the most immediate one I think is going to happen is the downside. So we have an entry order for sell. Not the best entry order, just like the Aussie. Not the best sell setup. But we will leave it there. So what we will wait for, if it comes, make a flag. The flag would be the best sell setup first. But just in case it drops from there, we want the trade. And it's a very short trade. It's a 1-to-1 trade. We're going with this just... The reason I'm taking this 1-to-1 trade is because there is a slight chance. There's probably a 10% chance it's going to drop out of this structure and keep falling. The big picture is downside. I think I showed you guys that already. The big picture is we're expecting this move to at least come back here before they go back up. That's the daily structure. So we always trade in the direction of the bigger structure. So if I think the daily structure is showing me downside, then great, I'll go with the downside. If the daily structure is showing me upside, then I'll go with the upside. So right now, the daily structure is showing downside. So any sell setup we get, we'll take. Because most times the market will move in that direction, in the direction of the bigger trades. So let's go. Aussie. Aussie, just wait. I think I just explained this. Somebody asked for it when they came in. So we're waiting for the, either we get a correction here when we buy, or we get it drop, make a flag, and we sell. New Zealand, this didn't go anywhere. This is actually consolidating here. The first move in this should be to the upside. This little piece here should go up. I'm not buying until we break out of this whatever that is, because that's not a flat as yet. It's not a confirmed flat. It's not a confirmed running. It's not a complete pattern. It's an incomplete pattern. So when it's completed, we'll see which pattern it is. Right now, this is a little flag, and that should go up. I'm not buying that flag. We'll wait for the breakout. Any flag above here, we'll buy. A reversal from there, we'll sell. Yen. Yen has a buy setup. I think we can take this trade, because now we have moved away from this slow move here, right? So we were looking at this yesterday, right? Remember the slow move it was giving here? I was like, we're not buying it to the top until it makes a flag above it. Well, now you're getting a flag above it. So that becomes a buy setup. Now, if you look at the chart, that buy is a high risk buy, because what we're looking at is that this sharp move here cannot be all the correction, right? It's unlikely, very unlikely. So what you're going to have in the future is a running flat. Now, this could still go and make another flag and go and make another flag and go. And then you get this move down, and all of this will still be a running flat for the upside. So we will take this trade here now. If we get that buy setup, we'll take it. We'll be very cautious, because it's not a fact that it's going to do what I just showed you. It could just come here and break this top and then reverse back to the bottom here and then go up. And this would be a perfect sell setup. We will get a running flat in the middle. We'll go back to the top. Right? We're in this big correction. This is the first move up. This is the second move down. And we're in this piece. And this piece is very corrective. So we will go with this being the core correction. For now, we'll take this as the core correction, this one. There's a buy setup. It's very, very limited. Let me go to the 15 and show you. Right now, it's coming down first. So right now, we think this is going to come down first. Right? Don't buy that breakout. It's probably going to do this and then come back here. And then the buy setup comes. Right? So you let this happen. You let it come and break these lows. When it comes here this afternoon, we'll start to look for this buy setup to the upside. Now, can this take off? It's rare. It's possible. Anything is possible in the chart, but that's not a pattern that I know. That's an incomplete pattern. So I wouldn't be buying into an incomplete pattern, because every time I try to do that, I'll probably lose my account quick. Right? We buy patterns that are crystal clear to us, which means we understand this pattern, we see what it's doing, we know what it's doing. These are the patterns we're going for. Right? If it's not clear to us, then we just stay away from it. So this one, I think I can show you. I'll put the drawing what I think it's going to do, and then we'll see what it does this afternoon, right? The whole point is, if it does what I think it's going to do, then we have a trade, right? So I think it should go to the top there. I think it should come back here. That will be a simple running flat in the middle with a 1, 2, 3 flat for upside. And then from somewhere at the bottom here, I don't know from where, we're going to be looking for that buy to the upside. And we will see how that works. Now, if anything else beside what I just draw on the chart happens, we will relook at it within the next couple hours. We'll reassess the pattern it is making, right? Not the one we decide it's going to make, not the one we forecast, but the one it's actually making. And when we see the one it's actually, we'll decide, you know what, we have to get the hell out of this, or we're not going to be trading this as yet. Well, we're not in the trade, so we most likely wouldn't be trading it as yet until we can confirm what the next trade is going to be. So the next trade we will be looking for is not this downside one. You can actually take that. Aggressive traders will take that. But for the purpose of YouTube, we wouldn't be doing that in this room. We might probably do it as an aggressive trade in a trading room. This is the one we will take, because that's a safer trade with a complete pattern in play, right? And it's a much faster trade once they start to go up, right? You get it faster. This one could be a slow move to the downside. So we'll be looking for a buy setup on this. You notice I have it as a sell. This is actually waiting for a flag to sell. That came from the trading room. Like I said, aggressive traders might take the trade to the downside. That is my traders in the trading room, right? They're aggressive. They can willingly take that. They know how to exit the trade when it doesn't go. Dollar CAD, we're looking for a sell setup. I'm tagged in the sell. See, I have my entry under the low. I'm tagged in this sell already. Why are we looking for a sell in the dollar index? Well, the dollar CAD is because I'm thinking that, this thing might come and retest this low. Right? It could probably do this, retest this low, then go. Remember the big picture of this, right? The big picture is that it has to come and break this low and then go back up. So I'm thinking it might come now. Now, it doesn't have to come now, right? Always remember, when you take a trade, you have to be willing to lose that trade, which means it might not be this trade that will go. And this is actually not the first sell that I took in the CAD, right? Even in this correction here, it's not the first sell. So what we're looking for is that this one might drop, and there's enough reasons to believe it can drop. It made a sharp move and it's coming down. It's breaking the last impulse, which means when they do that, you're looking for two things. You're either looking for a much bigger correction in the bigger 4-hour structure, or you're actually looking for total downside. Now tags and pull back again, no problem. This thing could tag you and pull back quite a lot. It will either start to make a channel here now, or it will make a running flat and drop. Right now we have one running flat in play, that is this one. So I'm not expecting this to be anything. We're expecting a running flat here, but it could be an expanding flat. Now if this is going to go up totally, at some point in here it might start to make a flag, and if I see a flag, we'll close this trade. Now this is an aggressive trade. Our stop is here, not above the top. So we put a small stop, because if it starts to go back up and goes above there, that means it's going to go up all the way. Right at this point, if they break, if the up move goes above that, then we'll be looking for a buy setup, not a sell setup. Most likely, if it comes here, the up move would be very slow, because this would be the first move in the downside. This will probably do something like this, come back here and then go. Now we're not expecting to stay with that trade so long. We'll get rid of this trade. We'll see if we get a buy setup. We'll look for a sell setup. Then we'll go one more up, and then it's still going to drop. Right? It's just we'll be making a bigger consolidation. Right now I think it's okay. I'm not really worried about it. And here is the contradiction. We're looking for a sell on the CAD, but we're in the buy on the Euro CAD. See that? We're in the buy in the Euro CAD. So what's it's same the CAD movement, right? Well, we are assuming that the Euro will be going up, and the Euro will go up faster than the CAD will go down. So the Euro CAD structurally is upside. Structurally, the Euro CAD is upside. Maybe CAD goes up. We will close the CAD trade in that case and go with the Euro CAD. So this one was just upside down. Like I tell you, we're not really worried about the first pullback. That's not a problem. It will always tag you and pull back. So I started the webinar with this. And this is the way you trade. I see traders get into a trade, it pull back, and they start to panic. And I'm like, dude, relax. Close the trade, because if you panic when you put on a trade, you need to close it. You have no idea what you're doing. Or you have no idea what the chart is going to do. You have no idea how the chart moves. And if you don't have any idea how the chart moves, trading becomes dangerous. It's like driving, but you don't know how to drive. You don't understand how the steering wheel works, how the brakes work, how the clutch works. You don't understand anything about the car, but you're trying to drive. You're in the driver's seat, and somebody got the car going for you, and you're just pressing the X. That's all. You're just accelerating, and you have no idea how to stop it. So you can't do that. Same thing with trading. You must understand how the chart is going to move. What's the next move we would likely do? Okay, this is no longer going your way. Then I need to exit it. So far, you see all these pullback in here? Who says they can't repeat that here? They can repeat it. So you just have to relax, let the chart do what it's doing, and then go. The same thing. The CAD we're in the CAD, and it's going down. Right? It might not go down, like I said. Well, then we will decide, well, this structurally is changing. Let's get the hell out of this one. Swiss, we're looking for a sell setup, but we're not in the trade because we have no idea where to enter. You just can't jump into it. When we get a flag, we'll enter. Now, what if it drops and breaks the low? Well, then it breaks the low, it goes without me. We'll be looking for the buy setup. We'll be looking for this trade to the upside. See that sharp trade? We still haven't got it. Yesterday, I told you that maybe this one will go, but if you remember, I said I'm more inclined to believe that this is a big flat, and because we have a big flat, it will come and break that top, but then it will likely make a new low and then go back. Watch yesterday's webinar, compare that. Why we look at it? Because we saw this flat. We saw this flat, and this is not how we expect this move to go up. We expect a small flag like this and then go. So when you get a big flat, you're thinking, well, wait a second. It's not behaving the way it behaved the last time. It's behaving differently. So it's probably doing one of these again. It's going to come break this low, and maybe now it go. Maybe we get another flat here, make a new low, and then go. But eventually you get this. Now, can you sell these? Yeah. Remember I said we're looking for a sell setup today. So if we get that sell, this was a sell for us. This was a sell for us. So we're going to take the sell if we get it. We don't have a sell setup. As far as I'm concerned, you jump into this and you watch it go straight back to the top, and then you learn a lesson. Now, is it going to go? I don't know, but we wait. Just wait for the trade setup. We don't have it. Euro Oz is a mess. Probably you want to stay away from it. It's pretty difficult. We were looking for a sell setup, but you're not going to get it so quick because this here will probably break out first, come back like this, give us this running flat, and then go. So this was the sell setup we're looking for. I think it's not worth it. Just leave it alone. Let it go back up. We might even get it to the buy, so I'll take this off. It's an aggressive trade in the trading traders are looking for. Euro CAD, we're already in the buy. We'll see how that goes. This is the third hour. Traders, my traders need to pay attention. This is the third hour. If it doesn't go, we get the hell out of the trade. All right, so if the trade is not going, you get out of the trade. We'll show you that. So I will be paying attention to how this one closes. There's nothing specific about which candle we are looking at. We're just looking at it structurally. So I need to see how this candle closes, how the next candle closes, how the next candle closes. And if at any point in time I think we're not getting momentum to go, but instead it's going to reverse and retest the low and then go, we'll get out of the trade. As of now, it's a good trade. It's a very good trade. So we'll stay with it. Euro New Zealand, we don't have anything here. If it pulls back, we might get a trade set up, but we'll have to wait for that, right? We're at the top of this structure, and that's a bad place to buy. That is never a good place to buy. So if it comes back to the bottom here, we might look for a buy. We might even sell it if we think it's going back. But right now, it's consolidating for upside. And this structure is this one. See? This is where you are. You have this move down. See this 1, 2, 3 here? You have 1, you have 2. And we're at the top of that 2 there. So better to get the trade to come back this way than to try to get this trade and hope that that takes off. Now here's the thing. It could take off. I don't know that it wouldn't take off, but we don't know that. So we are not just going to jump into it and hope that it goes. Hope is not a strategy. We never use hope as a strategy in our trading. So we trade based on the strategy, on wave analysis strategy, not the hope strategy, right? So we're going to wait for a setup to see what it's doing. Right now it's going up. It's probably will make one more up. Just leave it alone. Euro Yen. We're at the top again of this piece. This whole thing, we're at the top of it again. Made another flat. It made a flat there. So you kind of pull back with a flat there. You could even go with a running flat. It's going back. It's going to test the top. And I would let it break the top. And then we look for the sell. All right, let it come and break the top. Don't interfere with it. Don't try to buy it. See, every time they go there, they make a top, they come back. They came to the top, they come back. They broke the top, they come back. They broke the top, they come back. They broke the top here again, they come back. They broke the top, well, this time they could come. We are hoping that they come here and break down. Right? Can this go? Well, if it go, you don't want to buy it there. You want to buy it from the bottom here. This was your buy setup. Or wait for it to come here and then get it from the bottom going up. Right? That's not a good buy setup. And I don't care if that thing goes 1,000 pips from there. That's a guesswork if you take the trade. You're hoping that it's going to go. 90% of the time, it's not going to go. Especially in a structure like this. Now, on the big picture, we know it's probably going to go tag this top. We would like to see it go tag that top. On the weekly, we'd like to see this go up and tag this top before it comes back, which is breaking this top here. Breaking this lower one, not the big one. Break that top there and then come down. See, that's the weekly structure, but that will take months to happen. So do I think this one is going to go break that top? No. We don't have any reason to believe this one is going to go break the top. And if you're going to buy it to break the top, you have no good risk to reward trade right now. There is no good risk to reward trade for that to go. Euro Swiss? Okay, we'll just let it break the low. Now this could come a little lower. I think some of my traders are looking for the sell, but the caution is that we don't know how low it's going to go. Right, because you got to move down, you got to move up, and this is kind of coming down, right? It could come here. This is the first move into it. This is a 1, 2, 3. As a matter of fact, this one, we have the forecast for every piece of this move, which we did way before it happened. Go back, if you go back to my previous webinars from this date, from somewhere in February, and you look at it, you will see those arrows were there, and they were there all the time. Now this is the last arrow that we didn't take off. That is this one. So when this breaks the low, there's a very high probability that it breaks this low and it turns. We're going to get a flat here, and then we're going to break out. Now, I think this is the most corrective one. So we should get a sharp move up, a move down, and then go. All right, this thing makes a lot of correction. So, just keep your eyes on it. This sell here is not a good, it's a sell setup, but not a great one. So we'll just wait on that, right? Euro pound. We do have a sell setup in the 1 hour. And okay, I don't have the entry order in. Any of my traders have the entry order in that one? Let me see. No, I didn't get. I have the entry order in the pound. I have the Euro CAD, the dollar CAD, and I'm tagged in the Aussie CAD. I'll show you the Aussie CAD trade. That's upside down. I'm tagged in it. I got in a little too early, but no problem, manageable, right? So where we're looking at, this is a sell setup. It's still probably valid. It's not the biggest trade you're going to get. I think the chances are they can come back here and then go back up. So we'll see. Let me just show you the bigger pattern. What we're looking at. We're looking at this. And we have this one down here. You have an up move. You got a correction. You make a top. This was the move into it. So we were assuming this could come here and then go back up, complete this flat, go back up to the top and then drop. Now this would be a better trade, or this would be a better buy. All right, this sell here is not the best one, but it's a sell setup. So if there's nothing else to trade, you can go with this. Well, there's a lot of better trades than that. So I didn't put that in shorter on. Pound yen. So Pound yen, yesterday we were watching it. We had the entry for the seller. We moved the entry. It actually is breaking out of the correction, but it's still within the bigger correction. Right, this is still the first move down. This is still the correction. And the higher this go, the better your chance for a trade, a good risk to reward trade to the downside. So the higher this goes to the top here, the more you'll be looking for this impulse down before they go. Right, so we'll try to get this trade if we can get it. Trying to buy this at the top here might not be the best thing to do. And remember, somebody was asking about the fib strategy, and I was explaining it using this one yesterday. So you don't know where the hell it's going to stop and turn. That is why fibs are useless. So if somebody tell you should sell the 50 fib because they turn from the 50 fib, or you should sell the golden 618. How many of you have heard that the golden magical 618 fib, where it always turns from? Sell that 618 because that is where it's going to turn from and go back down. Well, as you can see, it's not magical and it's not golden. And there's nothing, any line in here is irrelevant, including the fibs. So the reason I have the fibs is because I was explaining that question to someone who was asking me, I said, how do you know where it's going to stop and turn? You don't know that. That's a guesswork. So what we do is we wait for the chart to confirm that it's stop and turn. We're not assuming that this is the fib where it's stop and turn. Anybody who tells you that has no idea what the heck they're talking about. Now, it's a good selling strategy, the 618 fib, and they'll tell you all over the world, you look at the proportions of your arm and the proportions of your body and all kinds of crap they'll tell you about. They're relevant crap because they're right about those proportions, but it's not, those proportions has nothing to do with what the chart is doing. It's just like me, taking totally two different things and trying to tell you that one is related to the other. They're not, right? So what the chart is going to do and the 618 fib has no relationship. Absolutely none. But as a selling strategy, it works because you can find 10 places or 20 places in the chart where the 618 fib works perfect. You can do that. You can set the fib in such a way so that the 618 fib works perfect. And then you say to the trader, see how it works? It's a magical. Well, it's not. I can pull it all over all day and show you there's nothing magical about it. And yesterday we pulled this to show you. See, not magical. It's breaking the fib. Look at this. It broke the 786. It broke the 618. It broke the 50. It doesn't matter. This is the most irrelevant thing you're going to use in your trading. All of those stuff has nothing to do with what the chart is doing. Nobody's pulling a fib anywhere in the market. Right? It's not like one of the bank pulling a fib and said, hey, we hit the 618. Stop buying. Start selling. Nope, not going to happen. Because if a client comes in and said, hey, we would like you to buy this first, they're going to buy it. They do what their clients tell them to do. So it has nothing to do with a fib or a trend line or anything. What we're saying is when their clients normally come in at specific days at specific time because that client has to pay salary or that client has to pay up on a contract every month on a regular basis, repeating what the client does because every month you must get salary and sometimes you get salary twice a month. And every month they have to pay their different bills that all companies has to do. And they repeat that create patterns. So if you can learn the patterns, you can figure out when you're going to get a spike or a sharp move or an impulse, as we call it. And you can take advantage of that. Which means when they decide to buy, you join them. That's the only way you can know. Now, it's not 100% that they're going to buy the same volume and exactly the same day. So there's no specific day. There's a structure problem. They can buy it on the 14th, the 15th, or maybe the 30th, the 29th, or the 28th. Who knows? You don't know exact day. But if you follow the structure, you would see that consolidation phase starts to happen. And that means somebody is buying up smaller quantities within a range. And once that buying up or selling up of those smaller quantities within that range for that 1 day or 2 day period is over, or 10 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour period is over, the market will move away from that zone because that transaction finished. The market is looking for where is the next orders, right? And it will move towards that order because the market is all about filling orders. So it will move towards that order, and that movement from where that one order was consolidating was being fulfilled to where the next order is where you're going to get that impulse. Or sometimes if the broker is closed, you get a gap. Somebody asked me about a gap yesterday. That is what create gap, because that happens overnight, over the weekend, right? So the transaction happens Friday afternoon when you went to sleep and your broker closed their shop. And the next morning, the Monday morning when you come and your broker opened, the price had already moved. That is what created a gap, because your broker did not have the chance to print the candle. That's all there is about a gap, right? The broker didn't have the chance. Price moved and he couldn't print the candle. So you get a gap. That's all there is. And prices are always moving, right? So the gap is not significant by itself, because if your brokers fail to work within the next couple hours and this price dropped from here to here and your broker has a fault in their program and then they open back, you will get a gap here. You will see candlesticks start going from there. That's all. It's movement of price. So the gap itself, trading gaps is a crazy thing to do. It does not make sense. Question what you hear. Question what you're looking at. Question what people tell you. And then said, well, what was the gap about? And how many gaps you have in trade? Look at some of the stocks. All you would see is a lot of gaps in them all the time, because price just change when your broker is closed or something. Or price just open at a different price every day. Just away from where the previous price was, right? So, by the way, I'm not reading the chat, so sorry guys, I'll come to the chat when I'm finished with this, right? So, we're going to see if we get this set up and we're going to go with it. Forget about the fibs and the gaps and all of this. Follow the chart and see what it's doing, right? So, let's see. Punkat, I'm going to go through I'm not going to go through all of them because we'll take too long. So Punkat yesterday, I told you, we want to see, let it break this top, and then we want to see if it's going to drop some more. Remember, this is what we're in, this up and down here, right? So the bigger picture is upside here. But sometimes it can drop here and then go back up and drop and go back up and drop and go back up and then break out. So I don't think this one is going to break out today. I'll pull this line, I'll continue to pull that line. I don't think it's going to break out today. This line is coming from the top. So we believe this is probably going to break out of this here, come here, and then try to drop, break this top. Right? So this would be the trade if we get it. Now, because it was making a flat in here, and it still made the flat, right? So I'll put it on the 15, you can see that. Because it's making a flat here that went so deep into this one. See this here? It went deep into that impulse. We normally look for 1, 2, 3, one more downside, and then the upside. So it wasn't a sell, we just wanted to break the top. And now if you get a sell setup, you could consider it. If it makes a sell setup, we can consider it for one more drop, if we think the drop is going to be worth it. If not, we'll just leave it alone, let it make the drop, and then we go for the buy. Right? Once it breaks this low, we look for a buy setup here. Every time it breaks the low, we look for a buy setup. If the buy setup, let's say we had taken this buy setup, let's just out of curiosity, we didn't take it, but let's say we had taken this flag. Let's say this flag didn't come so low. It stopped here and we take it like this. We took that flag there. See, it broke the top here. If we think that this is going to come back here, it came deeper and it goes there, we think it's going to come back, we just close the trade. Now I think this is going to come back here before it goes. So we would probably look for a sell setup if we get, if it breaks out of this, wait for a flag here and then we buy. That confirms the up move has started already, but with a deep pullback like this, we will not buy it. All right, that's just understanding of pattern work. Pound New Zealand. Nothing here. I'm going to move very fast. Pound Oz, nothing here. It's going up, but nothing there because you have two sharp waves to worry about. And you have this one to worry about, right? So all of this is going to break the top. They need to break there, come back here, give us this flat, and then we'll start look for the buy. Can we buy this to the upside? Nope. We can buy it, but I don't think we'll get a really good trade. So let's wait and see. Pound Swiss. Dollar Swiss is coming down. We expect that to happen. We just didn't get a flag for it. CAD is coming down as well, and the Euro CAD is going up. So this is probably going to come down. Question, do you want to sell it? Because all it needs to do now is break this low. All they need to do is break this low and then go straight back up. That's all that is left here, this piece. And once that is finished, this pattern completes itself and we will be turning. And this is where traders get trapped in flags. They were like, hey, that was a perfect flag. I sold it. I put my entry here. It tagged me and then it go. and I took a loss. And I don't know what you said about these flags. We should sell these flags, and look, this is a perfect flag and it didn't work. Yeah, perfect flag, wrong place. So let's call it wrong flag. If you look at the bigger picture and you see this and you think that's a perfect flag for a sell, you're in problem. It's a perfect flag, but selling will not give you good risk to reward. All they need to do now, can this come here and then go? Absolutely. But do I know that? Do you know that? Do any one of us know that it's going to come this much before it goes? No. Because once it breaks that, that qualifies for the pattern to complete itself. Not that the pattern will complete itself, but that qualifies. So when you're going to take a trade like this, what you need to know is that if I enter this trade, where will my stop be? And this is very, very important to all traders. 90% of traders out there take the trade without even putting a stop or knowing where this stop is going to be. Which means they don't know where they will exit the trade. They just see it's dropping and they want to get in the trade, and they jump in the trade and it starts to drop. It goes a little their way, turn on them, and they're like, hey, you told me this thing is a sell and I'm in the trade now. What should I do? I'm like, well, I never told you that in the first place to get in any trade. I never tell anyone to ever get in any trade. I'm showing you how I trade. And you make the decision if you want to get into any trade at any given point in time. That's your decision. That's the first thing you should know. The second thing is, you must have a stop. You must already decide way ahead where you're going to exit this trade if it doesn't go the way you expect it to go. And then you have to decide where you think it's going. Where you think it was going. So I look at this and I'm like, well, I think it's coming to break this low. I don't like it anymore. If that is all it's going to do, I don't like the trade anymore. Now it can go much more than that. Not my problem. I wouldn't be watching it. Let it go. As long as it doesn't suit the criteria that I'm looking for, then I'm off it. I don't really care how far it goes. It's not a trade setup that I would take. So traders would say, hey, he said this thing is not going to go very far. Look how much it dropped. I'm like, well, dude, good for you. Sell it. Next time I want to see you sell it. And when you put them on the challenge and said, I want to see you sell it live, show me you're going to sell it, they wouldn't do it. They would come hindsight and be very smart. Right? And you would see that on YouTube quite a lot. All the hindsight traders. You want to sell this? Sell it, let's see. I'm not selling it. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to drop, but I just don't know how far it's going to go. If you put an entry over here and it does this and go back up there, I'll be looking for the buy. If it drops this much, congratulations, you did well. I'm not getting involved in it. Because once it breaks that low, from my understanding, looking at the charts for a long time, that's the point from where it can turn and go right back up. Now, if I'm selling it, I'm selling this one. See this here? That's the one I'm selling. Not this one here. Now, what if I get a flag at the top here? With a stop here and an entry there. Well, yes, that's an aggressive trade I'll take. Right now, I didn't get that trade, so I'm not in the trade. If I get something like that, then it makes sense. Right now, it doesn't make sense to me. So let's go. Aussie Swiss. Aussie Swiss is coming down really sharp too. Looks like it's going to make another low here. See? Aussie Swiss is going to make another low here. And then it's going to go back up. Now it can stop here and go back up as well. Make a bigger correction here. So once it breaks this low, all of them are breaking the low to go up. So we'll look at this way. See? It's going to break the low, and then this structure is going to take precedent, right? Because we're looking at this as a 1, 2, 3 in that. It breaks this low, it's likely going to go back up like this. Make a running flat and then drop. Right? You can just go back a little into this structure and you're going to see exactly what I'm telling you about. See this here? It came, it broke the low of this one, and then it go right back up. This is what you call a long drawn out running flat. This is not a long drawn out running flat. That's a regular running flat. And you'll probably find a regular running flat right about here. Right? So I'm going to put the line in the low here. And be aware of the size of the flat as well. So this was a really slow move up. I didn't think that would give a running flat, but once we got this, we figured out we were making a running flat. So you got 1, you got 2, it broke the low, and then it go right back up to break the top before it drops. So if this is 1, who says we don't repeat it here? And that is why a sell setup here, although you have a sell setup and it's going down, is a bad idea. Right? A sell setup here is a very bad idea. So if you sell it here, all it needs to do is break this low. Your stop has to be somewhere here or somewhere above this stop. So you're not going to get a good risk to reward trade in the first place. Now, is it going to drop right now? Well, let's see if we had a flag here, this would have been a good sell, right? If you had a flag at the top here, this would have been a good sell. No flag, wait for the trade. Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD already kind of making a running flat here. I think we can already look at this as a possible running flat within a bigger structure. So we can look at that as a possible running flat. You can probably look at this whole piece as a bigger running flat. I think that could also make sense because you had a lot of correction here. Or we can put these as two separate flats forming. Right? This is where you have to decide which one of these are the dominant one. Which one is actually the flat? Because this is a flat and this is a flat and all together is a flat. So now we wait because the trade should be, if that is the flat and this is a correction, let me take this off. Sorry guys, the phone, let me just take it off. And it wouldn't come off, right? Okay, it's off, yes. So if this is the flat, here, then this move should go back up here, make this running flat, and then drop. So if we get a flag here, we'll look for a buy setup. Let's see if we have anything there that could make a buy setup. Not really. You could make an argument for a running flat in here, but we'd have to come back and break this top. Or we will get a flat in here and then go. So let's see if it makes a flat or a flag here, and then we go for the trade to the upside. So for the downside, I think it's limited. We already broke this low twice and we don't have any big move to the upside, so it's not going to go very much downside. Aussie Yen. Let's take off that. That was a sell. This is how we sell these flags, by the way. And we're looking for another sell setup. So we would look for the sell setup. This is irrelevant, basically. We'd look for the sell setup here when we get a flag, a small flag, which we don't have. I don't know if any of my traders got in aggressively on the trade, but that one is gone, so we have to wait now for the flag. Last impulse is gone, we have to wait for the flag. Let's see if we get the flag. If we get a flag, we're looking for a sell setup. All right, we want this to be a sell. It's inside of this whole thing, inside of this bigger correction. See, we're inside this bigger correction here. So we'll be, if we get the sell, we'll be taking it back to this low. All right, we're inside this whole thing here. So once it comes to this low, there's a chance it could go back up, come low, and then go. This is kind of going sideways, but most likely upside. So we'll wait for that. For the sell setup on the 1 hour, just wait for a flag at the top there. We just need a little flag at the top there, and then we're going to go with that sell. So I'll put this as waiting for a flag. New Zealand Yen. No trade setup here too. It's coming down. We expect that to come down here, but we don't have this set up as yet. Let me pull this here like you can see. And go back to the 1 hour and let's wait for the flag. Because this definitely looks a little more upside. This here looks like it can go up one more. See this? That looks like it can go up one more. So we'll wait for it to drop, make a flag, and then go with this straight to the downside. You just need a small flag like that. See, there's a flag there we sold. Let me see if I can show you that in the 15. Go back here. See that little line? That's a sell setup we had there. See that one? So we need something like that here to get into the sell. Right now, this is upside. This here is upside. This is going to go one more up. Just like this one, right? So that will go one more up, and then we'll, okay, I don't know, aggressive traders could take that trade. If you're a very aggressive trader within the correction and you're capable of doing it, it's not a bad trade, right? You're trading within this correction. So might be worth it. New Zealand CAD. Nothing here. CAD Yen. Also, we're looking all the yen pairs and all the yen pairs. We're looking for a sell setup in them because we're getting a flat. So take that off. This was a sell that didn't go. It didn't go as far as you'd. I think it was yesterday. Somebody else, and well, you'll close the trade somewhere. You'll get break even in that. It went way back to the top. So what we're going to look for is for it to come down from the top there. You can take this off. It's irrelevant. Basically, it doesn't have a lot of relevance right now that they're back at the top. Take this off and take this off. We're out of the channel. So what we're looking for is one move down, back to the bottom here. You're looking for this move down here, and then the upside. So this will become the flat in the chart. Now, this is very flat at the top there. So they can probably still make a new high income. But if they're dropping from the top, if one of those candles made the top and they're dropping, right, if we take any one of these to be top, I don't know, maybe this one. If that is the top, then they're going to come here, make a flag under here, and then we sell. If we're going to make one more high, they'll just come here and go back, make a new high. Look for the sell setup. So I think within this week we will see if we get the sell setup. You'll follow us and you'll see how we take the trade, and you'll see if we get the sell setup. CAD Swiss, nothing here. All of these really don't have any good trade setup, so we will wait. Swiss Yen, this one really doesn't have. This is different from all the yen pairs, right? This one is going up really fast. We're about to break that top. It will come back. It also will come back. There's a sharp move, and there's nothing to go with that sharp move, which means it will come back, but it's breaking the top. And if it breaks that top, the difference is if you break that top, this becomes more of a 1, 2, 3, go back, make a new high like this. Right? It becomes a flat. So we wouldn't be retesting this low anymore. You just move the same candle up to something equal to this, and then you put it here. So remember what I was telling you, when you do your forecast, when we did that forecast, we had a flat at the bottom here. Once it go back to the top, you're looking for a flat here now. You're looking for one more up. And you're still looking for downside, only now you've got a much bigger correction in play. Right, you've got a much bigger pattern to play with. So we'll see how that goes. It will be a sell setup. It might not be the best sell setup because you're way at the top there, and we have better sell setups to go with. So we might go with the better sell setups that we're getting. This thing is way at the top. It might even break that top, and if it breaks the top, structurally it becomes a running flat for upside. Natural gas. Okay. Now you can go with the trade. So yesterday, remember somebody asked me about this, and I'm like, wait for the flag. Because if you don't have a flag, they can go right back down, right? Now, can this thing drop down to the bottom here again? Possible. Do you want to sell? Maybe not. Not the best sell setup you would look for, right? If it's gonna, even if it's going to drop, it's not the best sell setup you'll get. There's a little flag here. I want this flag to stay here a little more, come back to the bottom here, make a flag like this, and then we're going with a buy. So I prefer getting the buy setup than the sell setup. Right now you have a short-term sell setup, very short-term sell setup. This is a flag for downside. Now I don't think this is going to go down. I think this flag will stay here and climb a little higher into this one. Maybe make a low, and then New York session we will all get a buy setup. So let's see. Even if it's a sell, I don't want the sell. Right? So we'll be looking for the buy setup, and hopefully we get that in New York session. Right? So let's go. US oil. Again, you're getting a sell setup here. Yesterday we spoke about this, but I don't know where the top of the structure is. I don't know where this came from, because that is the gap, that is the point that was not printed. And since I don't know where it came from, I'm not sure we can take the sell here for downside. So let it drop some more, make another flag, and then we go for it. Because if this come from here, that changes the whole game than if it came from there. So unless we know where that is, structure would not work well for us. S&P 500. Okay, you might get a sell setup here now. And this bigger picture. See this? This would be a sell setup. Let's go into 15 so you can see that trade. It's a lot of sharp waves, so it may take a while, which means I think we could probably see this go up a little more, come back here, go back there, make it flat, come down here, and then go back up. So we could be in this range for a while, which means if we get a sell setup here, we'll take that trade. It's a nice short trade. If you get a sell setup from the top, you take it. We don't have it right now. This is the buy setup, but it will be a sell setup by this afternoon, right? Nasdaq. I'm going through all of them. Have some patience. Nasdaq is the same thing. You're getting the same flat here, and you're at the top of it. If you have the ability to sell, wait for a sell setup, go for it. US 30 should be the same thing. Yep, the same thing here, right? See this one? You're actually at the top. It's gonna come back here. You had a sell setup. This one had a sell setup. If any aggressive trader took that trade, you did well, right? You broke the top, you get a sell setup, expect it to come back here. If not, wait for another flag, take that flag, come down here, right? Wait for the flag, get the flag, take it, come. Nifty, nothing as yet. Wait for consolidations or wait for drop and flag. DAX, nothing yet. This will probably come back down. Right now you're getting this one, right? So this will probably work its way down, maybe make a new high, come back here, complete this pattern, and then go. We don't have a trade as yet. You wouldn't be buying at the top there. Tesla, I'm going to go through them really fast so we can finish this. Tesla, wait for this to see what it's going to do. If they consolidate in this range here, it will be a sell. Most likely it will be a sell once it consolidates in that range. Bitcoin, this is the one everybody's interested in. So Bitcoin, we were thinking it should drop a little to the bottom here and then go back up. Actually, it just took off. So this would be all your consolidation, this piece here. Right, this is your bigger flat. This is the bigger flat. This is the up move. That's the consolidation, and they go. And that is why until you get the setup, you do not sell it or you don't buy it. The bigger picture is where upside. They always go in the direction of the bigger picture. Right, so although we thought that this could come back to the bottom here and then go, they actually broke out. So if you had an entry order above the top or above this one, or if you take that trade, is a good one. It makes another flag here. It can go some more. So put it in the 4-hour. Where is this thing going? Let's go again. Like I said, at some point this could come back down. We're getting a lot of divergence. So you go in the 1 hour and you take every trade, every setup that you get to take and put it to break even. So if you're trying to buy this, let's say you tried to buy that or you tried to buy this, you put it to break even. If you're going to buy this, if they make a flag here and this is going to go, if this makes a flag here and decide to go and you buy it, once it goes there, put that to break even because one of this can drop. And it can drop really fast. Right? We can't confirm that the move to the upside is not moving as fast as you would expect it. So you can't confirm that this is the move that is going to go. Right? So we're going to go to them. ETH. ETH, we expect this to go back up because I think I showed you, we think it's going to come and tag this top. And when you tag that top, that is when trouble starts, right? So it could come and tag this top. And when it tagged that, then we're going to expect it to come down back. Now, yesterday, if you were looking at the pattern yesterday again, it could have been a sell setup. Like I said, there's a good chance that this here could drop and break that low. Let's say you wanted to sell that. So let's go into this a little more detail because traders might say, well, I wanted to sell. If you wanted to sell this, what you would wait for here is a flag or a flat. And you had neither. Right? This is your first move down. This here is your first move down. And that is your first move up. You know what creates a flat? This makes come here and come back here. Now you have a flat. So where would your entry be? Your entry would be under the low. And you would wait to see whether this drops here to make a new low and then go back up. That should be your trade setup. If you did anything else, you did something else with that strategy that I don't know about. Now, if it breaks, instead of dropping, it breaks this top, that's when you start to ask yourself a question, well, wait a second, why are we breaking this top? If we are breaking out of this top, then we have a flat here. Right? So you can either take this one, or you can wait for this to make a flag here and take this one to go break the top now. We would assume that this here is all a consolidation. Can we do that? Yeah, we had a sharp wave here as well. Remember this one? So you could look at those two as a running flat, and that means there's a high probability that this, if it makes a flag here, would go break this top and then come down. Now, this is all you're likely going to have in the trade. So make sure you have a very good flag here and you have a very careful trade setup before you go with the trade. Before you go with that trade, you want to make sure that the setup is perfect, that the flags are perfect, that everything is there before you go. Because once you get to that top, it can drop. And it can drop even before you get at that top, which means it can break this top and start to drop. This is the point. As you're coming closer to that, this is where you have to be careful. And there's a lot of divergence. What that is telling is that momentum is not in the market. That although price is moving up, you don't have momentum. And that means 90% of the time, at least I should say 99%, that the MACD is correct about a correction, a deeper correction, or a reversal. Which one in this case is going to be a deeper correction all the way back to this low? And the MACD is warning you about that possibility already. XRP, let's go. XRP broke the top. Remember that trade? It's on YouTube. You guys should go and leave your comment there what you think about it. And now we're getting this one. Right? We're getting a flat here actually. Right? I don't think this will go and retest it. Remember I told you this looks like it can go retest the top, but once they consolidate in this range, I don't think it's going to go. So I think this consolidation here is a 1, 1, 2, 3, or you can look at this as a 1, 2, 3, come back here, make a new high and then drop. I think we'll consolidate in this range and then drop. I would not be buying the XRP now to the upside. Now, if it goes without me, but I will not be buying it. I'll be focused on trying to get a sell setup, which is not there as yet. There isn't a sell setup on it because it's an incomplete pattern. So when we get a complete pattern, we go with it. Right now, it's an incomplete pattern, so there is no sell setup. Right? Let's go. What's up? What else? This one is giving you a sell setup already. If this comes back down, it's a sell setup. If it keeps going, you don't have a buy setup. Right? But if this comes back down from this point, you have a sell setup back to this low. Now, if it keeps going up, you'll have to wait for a flag somewhere above this stop to actually get a trade to the upside, because the trade to the upside is limited. Right now it's limited. If you wanted to buy this for a move to the upside, you would have had to bought it on the breakout of this. Right? And the breakout of this will mean breaking this top. So you would take that trade to go break the top and put that to break even. Now, if you're lucky, they keep going. If you're not so lucky, this is all you get, and you watch it come back down. See? So I think there's a high probability to come down. So you can buy it where it is now. You either were in the trade before, or now you're going to wait for another flag, or the reversal, whichever comes. So I went through all of them. ADA, somebody wants ADA. So let's go through them since we're on it, right? ADA is the upside. We're doing the upside on this one. This could literally go a lot. This could go a lot because we're looking at it like this. But what if we look at it like this? What if we take all of this to be the correction? From here, go up like that, come back here, and this is a big expanding flat. Then this will continue to go. So the probability of ADA going up is much higher than the rest. Now, if that is not the case, when it comes to this stop here, it could come back to the bottom here and then go. Make this flat and then go. See? Here is a good example. Let me show you this one. I think I can bring this one up. So you have this move up. It came back to the low. You got 1, 2. You see what they did? They went back and broke the top before they came down. So you're looking for the similar flat here. You have 1, you have 2. It comes back to the top. It will have to come back here and then go. Complete the flat. Right? So now that you're at the top, if you're in this trade, you don't have to close the trade, because what if it just takes off like a rocket? Just move your stops. Make sure you're positive, so if it goes, it goes. If it starts to come back, try to exit the trade for profit. Right? I think we've covered all the cryptos. Or anybody else want any other crypto? Type right now which crypto you want. Which one I haven't covered that you want me to cover. Somebody said CHZ, or that's an SCHZ USDT. I haven't heard of that one. There are millions of cryptos, so we wouldn't be able to cover all of them, right? We'll try to cover the ones we mostly look at. But since that's the first one I see, I'll just go through it. Let me see. Is that an SCHD? Or CHZ, sorry. USDT. So there's an S in front, right? Let's see if there's an S in front here. Oh, that's trading view, not connecting my charts. Sorry, we'll go. Let's do the ones we have while trading view still connecting my charts. BNB. Somebody want BNB. We have BNB here. Upside right now, short-term upside. This one is very short-term upside because it's not going to go very far. See, we're in this range. See this here? We're in this range. And this is kind of consolidating, still in the range. You're still in this range here, see? You're like in this think of this, let me just put the whole line and you get an idea. It's separate patterns, but you're in this range. So think of it as this range. This one is coming to break this top. See this top here? We're going up there to break that top. And once we break that top, we could come right back here. And then they can repeat that for a few, but then they're going to come down. So the big picture is downside. Can it come to this top here that was the thought process, that they're going to go take out this top. But it's moving really, really slow. So take one piece at a time. Take this piece now. Right? If you get this trade, that's really good. If you get that trade to break this top. Right? When it breaks the top, try to look for profit, because it will either pull back like this, or it's going to reverse back and test this low. Right? So this one trade here to break the top, and then see what happens from that point. So take one trade at a time. Okay, so now we can take questions. I'm going to take a break from the charts. Let me look back at the two trades we are in. We're in the Euro CAD. I think it's doing good. Right? Not on the daily, sorry. On the 1 hour, I think it's doing good. It's going well. Yep, the Euro CAD, we're in the Euro CAD trade. That's going good so far. And we're in the dollar CAD trade. And surprisingly, this one is okay. It's not going good, but it's okay. We're not losing. But if it doesn't go in the next hour, I'll close the trade. So I'll give the dollar CAD one more, the close of this hour and the next hour. If it doesn't go, I close the trade. So dollar CAD could stay where it is, and euro CAD could go up as long as the euro keeps moving up, right? So those are the two trades we're in. Any other trades you are in? Trades? Anybody in my traders? Any trade you guys are in you want me to look at? No. So let's go. Let me take some questions. Can you do some cryptos, please? Yeah, we did some cryptos. Hi, can you do ADA? We did that. Bitcoin. Anil, can you do XRP? We did that. Very nice work. I'm reading the ones that I see, right? I'm not gonna go. So if where I start from your question is not there, please post it. Very nice work. Could you look at that SCH that I tried to look at it? TradingView wouldn't allow me to for some reason. It's still searching for it, so we'll find it later. For BNB, we did. Thank you, please. BNB, we did that. I don't know how trading the 1 minute is feasible at all. You can, if you have the skill level, you can do it. It's doable if you have the skill level, but it's nerve-wracking, and it's not long term. It's not sustainable. You can't do it for a long period of time. You're probably gonna have a heart attack because every candle is gonna scare the heck out of you, right? Hey, you do CAD. Okay, perhaps a sell setup. We'll look at that in 5 minutes just now for you. I don't think we had any trade set up there, but I'll look at it. Kuldeep Singh. Can you look at overall Swiss pairs, the Aussie Swiss and New Zealand Swiss are nearly, yeah, they're at the bottom of not nearly weekly, but they're at a daily pattern for upside. We can do that. We'll take a quick look at them. They're sell setups that we're not trading right now because they're at the daily pattern there, right? Thank you so much. You shouldn't short it the moment it breaks the top, but you wouldn't if you're watching on the 1 minute. I'm not sure which chart you guys were talking about when you're talking about shorting when it breaks the top. No, we don't. Even if we think that something is turning, right? Even if I think that something is turning, I don't let my thought process be the strategy. You have to have a strategy, and the strategy means I have to wait for some confirmation before I get into the trade. Now, I know traders like to pick top and bottom. They think they're good at it, and they were like, hey, look, this thing break the top, and I sold it immediately, and look, it's going my way. Yeah, they're showing you one trade. Tell them to show you 100, and they will never do it. They will never show you 100 of those trades. You know why? The results will be devastating. They know what will happen if they show you. So they will show you the one or two that actually works like that. That's not a strategy, because things break top and they keep going like crazy. So you think you can pick top and bottom? Good luck to you. I can't. Let me see. Scalping in the 5 minutes easier and better compared to the 1 minute. I don't know. I don't do scalping. If you guys can do it, then congratulations. You're good. Yesterday you said BTC short, but it didn't teach us how to exit the trade. No. Yesterday I said there's a possible short in the Bitcoin. You should listen. Go back and listen to the recording. It's recorded, and that's a good thing. There was no exit because there was no trade. You said I didn't show you the exit. There was no trade, right? So we didn't. I said there's a possibility of this coming back to retest this low here. First, it will have to do this, come back, retest this low, and then go. That's what I said. So go back and watch your webinar. I said I'm not interested in the trade to the downside because the bigger picture is upside. But if you're going to trade it, what you need to do is you need this to come here and make a flag. And then you need to take this flag only to get to this low. Because when they break this low, they're definitely going to go back up. Now I want you to record this. Watch these two recordings. Go compare them to what I said. And the same thing I said for Ethereum. I said there's a likely chance this one is going to go back and retest this low. Right? It's starting to make a flat here. And I said there's a good chance that that flat could come and retest this low and then go back up. Because the bigger picture is upside. Now, this trade didn't happen and that one didn't happen. Let's say you didn't get the buy. But you didn't get any trade. I didn't buy them. I didn't get any sell. Big deal. You know how many things moved yesterday that you didn't get the trade? A ton of them. If you think you missed the trade and every time you think you missed the trade, you're going to just jump in because you're going to miss it, go ahead, jump in. You're going to, I mean, there are traders who, hindsight, see a move and they were like, wow, I really, really wanted to buy that. And I always tell them, tell me before. Any trader who come to me and said, I really wanted to buy that, I was thinking of buying it and look, it moved and I didn't buy it. I always said, tell me before. I want you to tell me before it moved that you're thinking that you want to buy it and you're going to buy it, and I'll let you buy it and we'll see the results. The problem is they have no thought process before. All their thought process is after the fact, right? It's like, I don't want the women to start bashing me, right? But some men said their wife knew everything. I knew that was going to happen to you. Some people in general like that, they always know what's going to happen. Hindsight. Trading is about forecasting. Trading is never about hindsight. Anybody who knows Bitcoin was going to go up to the top there has no clue what they're talking about. But if somebody come to me and said, hey, I think Bitcoin made it low, I'm waiting for this setup to buy it, I would get, congratulations, you're a trader. You know what you're looking for. You understand the purpose of trading, and you understand the whole idea of trading. It's not that because it's at the low you're going to buy. You want a setup. You have a strategy, how you're going to enter it, what you need to see before you get into that buy, what it needs to do. I don't care what you're using, but you need to have a certain amount of criteria to say, well, I need it to do this, this, this. And if I see that, I believe, well, it's going to go up. For me, it's wave analysis. I need an impulse and a flag, and I'll get the trade. If I don't, then I'm not in the trade. That's it. So I hope you understand that part. Let's go. I missed some questions. I'm going to go back. How do you position the stop losses? How do you make your decision to put it here or there? It's based on the impulses and the flag. It's based on the pattern we're looking at, what we think that pattern could do. Sometimes if it's a very small flag and I think the pattern could pull back, we will move the stop loss to a bigger pattern. And sometimes we double that risk because it's like trading two trades basically. There's a lot of things into it, and it all depends on what the pattern is doing. What I think that pattern is doing and that we're trading. I thought it's a trade. No, I think you're talking about the Bitcoin. No, if you follow us for the week. Here's the thing: you might be here. You're probably new to our style of trading. Follow us for the whole week. You'll see how we trade. Agree that we need confirmation. Exactly. We always look for confirmation. If we don't get a confirmation, you don't have the trade. Great trade for today and close it now. No, we're not closing the trade as yet. The trade hasn't gone anywhere. I think we have two trades. We have the CAD hasn't even moved. It's not even positive. It's slightly negative, 2 pips. And this one is in profit, but there's no need to close this trade again. That's what I'm saying. If you close the trade now, that's panic move. Right? This trade is going to move away to the top. Absolutely no reason why this trade should be closed now. Don't grab profit out of the trade so quick. Let it go. And it's going very good. Yes, Johan told you guys, give you guys one of our basic rule there. You should read what Johan just said. Even if you're the best forecaster in the world and you absolutely sure that this thing, you slept the whole night and somebody from somewhere, you dreamt that somebody whisper in your ear that this is going to happen, and you're absolutely sure it's going to happen. You wait for your confirmation. What is it doing right now? And do I think this trade is still going to go? Do I have a confirmation? What's the forecast? What's the plan in the trade? Right? If you have all of that, then great. If you don't, then what you're doing is just emotionally trading. And that is not a good strategy. Emotional trading gets you into trouble. Because if you don't have a plan, like here's the thing about wave analysis. I have a very clear vision of what I believe this chart is going to do. Right? Let's start with that. What I believe the chart is going to do. So I believe that this thing needs to come and break the low. Remember I told you guys? It needs to come and break this low. And then it needs to go back and break this top. And we're going to have 1, 2, 3. And then I'm looking at the bigger picture and said, when it breaks the top, where should it go? Right? So I'm looking at this and said, where should it go when it breaks the top? So when we break this top, what could happen next? If and when we break the top. Well, if and when we break the top, we have a sharp wave here, we have a sharp wave here, we have a sharp wave here. This is the only flat I'm seeing inside of these up moves. So is there a chance that we break this top and we come back here, we create a flat pattern here, and then we go? In my thought process and in my analysis, I'm seeing that clearly that that's possible. Now let me show you what could happen from the possibility that I just showed you. What could happen is that this thing here works its way up a little more right to this level, drop here, do something like this, drop again, do something like this, do something like this, do something like that, do something like this, come down to the bottom here, break this low by a lot, and then go back up to the top here to make a flat like this. And then from there, it drops. That could be the reality of the trade. Remember the pattern that I just draw from you? It's nothing like this. These are two different things. Now, I would never make that second forecast. Because if I make that second forecast, I will never be able to take a trade. Never, ever be able to take a trade using wave analysis. So that second forecast, you never, ever make it. Right? If that is to happen, the trades you're in will either be break-even or very small losses. Right? Most times, you always start with the simplest pattern. That is what I just draw for you. The simplest pattern is a 1, 2, 3, and go back to the top to break this stop, to make that move. Now, that may or may not happen. It doesn't matter. You're not here to prove you can get it right every time, or you're a winner. You're you're here to make money. So you calculate your risk, you take the trade. If it doesn't go, you get the hell out of it. That's the whole point. What pattern eventually turns out is not under your control. People who are trying to look like they're controlling the market have delusions. They're delusional. They think they can control what the patterns are going to be. And that's my biggest problem with let it wave. The variation of pattern rule that they have, that if one is a flat, the next one has to be a triangle. That's about the most delusional thing I've ever heard. Who tells you it's going to do that? Why we can't have 6 flats in a row, each after the other, without any triangular pattern? Well, I've seen that happen, and I'll challenge anybody to that. I'll show you on the charts. So any one of them who tell me you have to have the variation of pattern has just read the book and, didn't digest it properly. That is just a book of a view that is too old and outdated. But the idea and the concept is very valuable. The concept of wave analysis is valuable. Now, we don't have to follow everything point by point. We have to take what the concept and see how the concept works in today's chart. And that's what we're doing. So let's go. This trade is still going. No need to close it. Let's see. We'll decide when to close it. We'll tell you. Agreed. Understand that we are looking for a down move on the major indexes like NASDAQ. No, we're in a consolidation. That down move that I show you is pretty short. Right? So it depends. When you say down move, you have to say what time frame. Hi, Jaiwei. I think you were in our group. I remember you, if it's the same one, right? So what we're looking for is a short-term consolidation phase. I'll show you back again. Let me finish with that, right? There's always chance in this market, so waiting for a better time to take risk. Here's the thing. You have to, I probably, within these sessions when we have more time, I'll explain to you. There is no right and wrong way in how you enter the trade and where you enter it. You could have your own strategy. Even in our group, all traders have their own strategy. The only thing that is the same for all of us is the analysis. How you trade that analysis is your problem. Literally, it's your problem. You can do whatever. Not all the traders in my group are following exactly the strategies I'm showing you here. These are very simple strategies. These are very safe strategies. The one we're using here is very safe strategy. We have traders who are much more aggressive than that, right? But here's the thing, they have the skill level and the ability to manage that risk, as well as their account is well into profit, so they can afford to take a loss where you and I can't afford to take a loss. Right? So, how you trade it, what strategy you're going to use to trade, could be individual. The analysis is not individual. The chart is not going to go up for you and down for me. It's either going up or it's either going down. Where and how you getting in that trade, what time frame you use to trade it. You want to scalp it in a 1 minute, you want to scalp it in a 5 minute, you want to take a long-term trade in a 4 hour, you want to take a trade in a daily, an investment trade in a daily structure. It's all up to you. There's no right and wrong way in doing that. Right? As long as you get the analysis correct. And one guy is saying the MACD and the Bollinger Band help him. If it helps you, then good for you. I don't find them useful. I find them very, very misleading. But hey, if they help you, anything that makes you a successful trader, right? Anything. People like to have, one, if you have to wear the same shirt every time you trade because that helps you, I have no problem with that. Just keep wearing it as long as that helps you. If you think there's a special color that makes you successful, then go ahead. It doesn't matter what you use to make you successful. I see people put on so much things on their chart that you can hardly see what's on the chart. You can hardly see the price movement, right? They've got these moving averages, what they call it, I don't know. They color it and it's wavy and it's like 100 of them, and you put clouds on, and you put sky, and you can put whatever you want, anything that makes you happy. Now here's the thing: are all those things helping you in your trading? You see how simple my trading is? Here is an impulse, here's a flag, here's a pattern, I'm in the trade. That's it. There's nothing more to that, right? It's simple, it's helping me, and I can handle it. Now, if you put too many things on my charts, I don't see a damn what's in the chart, and I get confused. Right? I don't know what's doing, because I instead of looking at the chart and see what it's doing, I'm looking at the MACD, and then I'm looking at the Bollinger Band, and then I'm looking at something else, and then, the Bollinger Band confirmed, but the MACD didn't confirm. Or the MACD confirmed, but the moving average didn't confirm. Or the moving average confirmed, but something else didn't confirm. So I'm waiting for all to confirm. And by then, the movement is gone. I'm no longer able to trade anything, because not all of them are confirming everything at the same time. So it all depends on how you use them, what you use them for, and if they work for you, great. Right? There's a divergence in the 15-minute time frame in the Bitcoin from that price it would start, but I take it too late. I don't think the divergence is a trading strategy as well. It does give you, it's very reliable and give you turning point, but sometimes you get divergence and that move just keeps going. Right? It's a warning sign. It's not a 100%. It does warn you, and it does eventually happen. Right? So divergence by itself is not a trading strategy. It's a warning sign that, hey, this thing is doing this, right? This thing is doing this part of it. The problem I'm trying to get rid of since I knew about wave analysis, trying to forecast the second and third moves that me miss a lot of the trades. That makes you miss a lot of the trades. The second and third moves that make you miss a lot of trade. That will depend on what time frame you're looking at and how you're looking at the chart, right? Like what second and third move you're looking at. So let's take the two trades we're in. This is one. This is simple. We just wait for it to break the low. We wait. I think if you were there yesterday, we wait for it to break, we wait for a reversal, wait for a flag, we took the trade. Simple. Nothing more. There's nothing more complex about that. The CAD is the same thing. Right? The CAD is the same trade. And they're opposite trades, because if the CAD goes down, the Euro CAD is supposed to go down. Right? So we're like taking contradicting trades here. And that's something we talk about in the trading room, right? I was like, okay, don't worry with it. Let's take it, because what if the CAD had dropped and the Euro CAD went sideways? We would end up missing the very good CAD trade, and we would watch the Euro CAD go sideways, and we'll close it for break even. But the CAD is going sideways and the Euro CAD is going up. Okay, great. Let's take break even on this one and take the profit on that one. You follow? Because both of them had structures. What we look at, both of them had an impulse and a flag, only in opposite direction. This has an impulse and a flag, but in the opposite direction. So this one had this impulse. You had this running flat. You had this running flat, and you had this small flag forming here. Now we can go with that as a running flat, right? But then we said, well, this didn't get a move to break the top. Let's put it under the impulse. Let's see if we break that impulse. Now we broke the impulse twice. By rule, if that thing come back here, I have to close it, right? I have to look for the exit strategy already on this, by rule. So I do think it's going to come back here, and I will close that trade, and I'll put an entry order lower. I'll show you. We'll do it. You'll get to see what I'll do. Now, the reason why I'm doing it is what's going to confuse you. How we do it and what we do it. Now, you wouldn't be able to replicate that immediately at any given point in time anywhere. I guarantee you that, because we do this in our trading room for the past 3 years, and a lot of my traders can't replicate it that good. So it's not as easy to do. You still have to understand the patterns, understand which pattern you're looking at, what this pattern is going to, where is the close, where is the... There's a lot to it. It's not as simple. It looks simple when I show you. Right? There's a difference between knowledge and understanding. Right? So when you see things, you think you understand them because you see it. Right? We all see things and we say, oh yeah, that's simple. because we recognize it when we see it. We don't understand it, we recognize it. Right? Recognition and understanding is the thing. A lot of people recognize wave analysis and they believe they understand it. Right? They see the waves, hindsight, oh yeah, I recognize that, I can see it clearly. But give them to do the forecast before. Give them a chart and say, I want you to make 3 forecasts on this chart, what you think it's going to do the next 3 moves. And then you find that recognition and understanding is huge difference. Right? People recognize things, they don't really understand how to do it. They don't understand the mechanism of what it works and what it does. And how you can forecast it correctly. So those are really, really big difference. So what your problem is now, you recognize the patterns. You're not good at forecasting them as yet. You can get very good at them. I don't think I have to tell you where you can learn to do that, right? The Skype is in the description. Get in the description, get on the Skype if you want to learn to do this and you want to be an expert and you want to be good at it. And send me a message. And we will tell you when and how, where you can learn it. So, that's it. Let's go. What are the trade setups we have? I'm going to go through the trade setups we have very quick. We have the pound trade setups. We're taking this off. You see we're at the top there. Take off this. We don't have the buy setup as yet, right? The buy setup is not there. It's not because you're breaking the line, it's a buy. Let me just get this clear. It has to make a flag. If this thing doesn't make a flag, it can go right back down. But we wouldn't be selling it here if it's going down. And we're not buying it until we get a flag. I think euro is breaking out. We're looking for a buy setup in the euro. Once we get a flag, we'll buy it. If it makes a flag, we will buy it. There's no flag to buy. If you wanted to buy this at the bottom, there are small flags from the bottom here. If you miss that, wait for the 1 hour flag to buy at the top. Aussie, you see, we didn't get into this. We want to see if it's going to consolidate here for the buy or if you get a flag here for the sell. Whichever comes first. You will see that this afternoon. The NASDAQ one. Okay, good. No problem. I'll come to that just now. Let me just finish this. I remember. Yes, thank you. I remember that. CAD, the sell is valid if it breaks through the low now. If it doesn't break through that low, that sell is no longer valid. We will close the trade. We'll let you know what we do with the trade when we come back in the New York session. All these are just setups. They're not trades. So we have a lot of setups trade. Somebody wanted to look at all the Swiss and you want to look at the NASDAQ. So let's look at the NASDAQ and those 3 for you very quick and then NASDAQ. So what we're looking at this down move is within this piece. See that correction there? So what I'm telling you is you can trade within this range here, within this range. So this comes up a little. It might come back and break this low. It might come back to the low and go back up. So if you can trade within this range, I'm on the 4 hour now. That's a tradable range on the 15 minutes. So you get it, right? You've been in the group, so you know what I'm talking, right? You're looking at this range, tradable range, and this one, right? The same for this one, right? This one maybe not. You can get one trade maybe. Assume that this one is going to come and break the low and go for this trade if you can get. That would be a 15 minutes trade. I'm showing you them on the 4 hour. That would be a 15 minutes trade if you get a 15 minute setup. Right? The same would be for S&P 500. Right? Wait for it to go and give you that 15 minute setup. If you don't get a setup, then just leave it alone. Right? It's going to go up. This one actually has a short upside still. Just like this. See this had the upside here? And it broke the top and then came down. So this has an upside. It will probably break the top, come back here, try to see if you can get this trade. Right? This might go back up or it might break through. But the bigger picture will still be upside. Right? But that will take a while. That might not even go until tomorrow. So let's go back. Somebody closed the Euro CAD. You closed it a little too early. It's still going. Right? So if you go into 15, you can see it just made another spike there. Right? So you closed it a little too early. Now what you can do if you're in this trade is you can put it to break even because that means you can't lose on the trade. Right? You have taken out all the risk on your account. Remember, your number one goal is protecting your account. Not the trade. The trade is irrelevant. Your number one goal as a trader is protecting your account. So you can go right now and protect your account by putting this trade at break even. And you can't lose on the trade. Now, I have one job. Once I put that trade at break even, I have one job left. Get this one to break even. See? Do I take profit from this one here now? Not as yet. No, not as yet. There's no reason to close the trade or take profit as yet. because the next candle can go straight up to the top there. So we will wait. We'll see. If it starts to consolidate, I'll close it. When you come back and join us in the New York session this afternoon, we'll show you what we did to the trade. When you join us tomorrow, we may still show you some of those trades, what we're doing with them. So yesterday we got 2 amazing trades. Today we got 1 amazing trades and 1 break-even trades in the making. If the CAD fall, this is going to come back. We'll close this for small profit. We'll be in profit in the CAD. But euro is still going up, so this might just consolidate. See? Now there are more trades in the chart, but I don't want to make this YouTube thing too congested with all the trades, because when we're in the trading room, we'll take a lot more trade. Here I'm doing questions. I'm looking at all the charts for you guys, so we will stick to 1 or 2 trades a day. The idea is not to give you trades. The idea is to show you how we trade. And then if you would like to join us, you can join these live sessions twice daily for free. But you would have to join the installment program to get access to the group for free, which means you have got to decide that you're going to join the course, and you start paying for the course, and we will give you access to the group, to these 2 live sessions for free. But you have got to decide you will take the course. That's the whole point, right? If you can pay for the course immediately, you may want to do that, because we're going to do a training session when I finish this 1 week, and in about a week time we'll do a live training session in my group, so you may want to join us. Nasdaq under 15 minutes. I just actually showed that. You probably just came in. We're waiting for 15 minutes downside and flag to sell. So all of you take care, trade with care. See you this afternoon. Make sure you bring a friend over this afternoon. I'm open to all the questions you have. So bring a friend over. Let's get questions about the charts, and let's look at these charts, and let's look at this. If we have time, we'll even do a small educational topic if we have the time. If not, we'll just go ahead and trade. All right, join us this afternoon. I'd like to see all of you there. Take care. Thank you for coming, and bring a friend this afternoon. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. So I'll give everybody a couple of minutes to give their last word, because somebody told me I closed it too fast, and people want to say thank you or they want to say something, and I closed the whole chat too fast. I will stop talking. You guys type what you want. I'll give a minute and then I'll close it. I don't want to say I'm closing the route. I'm ending the guy said I ended abruptly, so I don't want to end it abruptly. I wanted to go very smooth this time. Right? All of you have a great day. Trade with care, and don't let yourself be misled by shiny object. Not all that glitters is gold. Right? Make sure you question what you hear. Anything you hear out there, including what I say, you should question what I say. You come here. That's why we're showing you live, so you can question it. Right? Take care. Trade with care. Bye-bye.